Hi, big crowd here. Thank you guys for joining us today. My name is Alex Keeble. I work with Xero. I'm a senior account manager based out of Atlanta. I work with our partners on the East Coast. So if you guys are from Virginia, the Carolinas, or Florida, come find me after and let me know. Let's go. So I have the pleasure of announcing two of my favorite partners here, Henderson, Michelle Frank. They really embody what it means to be a great Xero partner. I think that's what makes Xero unique, is our partnership with our accountants, like all of you today. It's something that we really value. So we have some pretty cool initiatives that we do with our partners. Michelle is part of our XPAC team. If you guys haven't heard of XPAC, it's the Xero Partner Advisory Council, a couple of you. So they really help us improve the product, give us feedback, what's the competition doing, and Michelle's been very, very helpful in improving the Xero product, so we're super appreciative of her. We also have Mr. Eric here. He is a Xero ambassador, another really cool program. So each community in the US has an ambassador who's basically a high-level Xero user to help you guys get the most out of Xero. So Eric specializes in tech stacks, app ecosystems, and really helping people build the perfect ecosystem for their clients. So yeah, they asked me to announce them today, off the cuff, kind of. He also asked me.
It was like a week ago.
Yeah, but it's I'm not in the system, you know. But they also asked me to tell a joke to kind of get you guys razzled up, warmed up for them. So I have a joke.
We love your jokes.
Yeah. The joke is, a mathematician, an engineer, and an accountant walk into a bar. Bartender asks, "What's 1 + 1?" The mathematician says, "I can prove to you that there's an answer." The engineer walks up, says, "I can prove to you that there's an answer up to 2 decimal points of accuracy." The accountant says, "Whatever you want it to be." So that's a joke. Give it up for Michelle and Eric. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Alex. Welcome, everyone, to our presentation on the partner stage. I'm Michelle Frank, co-founder of High Echelon. I've been a licensed CPA for almost 15 years, live in Atlanta, Georgia. High Echelon is a public accounting firm, services its clients in just about everything except for audit, and we just turned 4 this past April.
Hi, Eric Henderson. I am not a CPA. I am an IT guy. I know you guys are like, what is he doing up here? It's fine, we'll get into that. I am the co-founder and business partner, Michelle, here at High Echelon. And we're going to tell you a little bit of our story, and then a little bit about a process I think that has honestly changed the lives of each of us and then of our team. But to start with,
how we got here. I was raised by my father, who is a CPA. And perhaps this is a tale as old as time, but I was very young, 8 or 9, when he sat me down at a computer, opened up a reconciliation module, and was like, just look at this list and that list, and if they match, and if the difference is 0, then you did your work. So I learned to reconcile a bank account before I was done with elementary school. I did grunt work for him throughout middle school, high school, more reconciliations, stapling paper tax returns, mailing paper payroll checks, like the stuff of horror stories, 2026. When it was time to go to college, I had had enough, and I was adamant that I'm not going to be an accountant. I didn't study accounting. I graduated from Emory University in Atlanta in 2003 with a degree in economics. Don't really recommend that. Spent about 5 years doing all sorts of other stuff, and then realized not only am I kind of good at accounting, but I really, really enjoy accounting. So 2008, I moved back home, joined my dad as a partner in his firm, worked for him, learned the clients for about 9 years. When it came time for him to find a definitive path to retirement, he offered me the firm. No way, I did not want it. I did not want to keep doing what he was doing. We chose to go the path of an acquisition. A medium-sized firm bought us out. They had previously been tax only, and they wanted to build an accounting, payroll, and tax department so that they could better service their clients. So we went with our book of business. I was head of accounting services, whatever that means, had a small staff. we figured out how to have a whole accounting, payroll, tax department. And then, like many of you, in March 2020, I was sent home. And I found myself 10 days out from the corporate tax deadline, 3 kids having to homeschool them, 1 who was in kindergarten learning to read. I cannot teach a kid to read. That's not my thing, but I had an epiphany at some point, like, why am I working this hard and making them this much money when I could just do it myself? And not only could I do it myself, but I thought that I could service the clients better and deliver a better product. And maybe my dad was right. So 2 years later, in April 2022, I exited the firm and we formed High Echelon.
Yeah, so I want to take you kind of where empathetically Michelle was at that point. So she's by herself. Her dad, Bob, is working very part-time. He likes doing taxes, but he doesn't like getting into like all the accounting minutia unless he has to. So she was the only person that knew everything about a book of business, and we layer all the stuff on the right side of this slide on top of that. So pricing, marketing, bills, invoices, payments, etc. And so we call that a trap. I think a lot of small business owners, my experience in my whole career, IT before and accounting now, get stuck here. They just live here, and that's their lifestyle for decades. So for us, we didn't want to be stuck in that trap. In 2022, I still had a full-time job at an IT company, and so I only joined the firm in 2024, so my labor was really only full-time until we got to 2024. In addition to all that, we had a set of goals. Those goals were very important to us. Like, we didn't go into this willy-nilly. First goal was, hey, we want to build a firm to sell. We don't want to do this until we're 70 or 80 years old. We want to make something valuable that's great for our clients, it's great for our employees, and sell it off to somebody and they take it from there. Secondly, we wanted flexibility of work. And what I mean by that is not necessarily less hours. I mean work from wherever we want. So that could be here, it could be the beach, it could be anywhere. And then for me, I'm a night owl. I want to work at night. And in my IT job, it was 8 to 5. It was exactly 8 to 5 every single day, no exceptions.
I wasn't giving up my ski trip to the Rocky Mountains in the middle of tax season, so we had to build a firm where we could work anytime, anywhere.
Yep. Third, we wanted work we enjoyed. And what I mean by that is, again, I'm an IT guy, you guys are accountants. Some of your work's a little tedious. I've noticed this, I've learned this in owning an accounting firm for 2 years. Our practice has been, we build client engagements that are the work we want to do, and there's always going to be some work that's a little more challenging, more tedious. We're going to lean into AI, and then we're going to lean into our team, and that's really what we're going to talk about. And then finally, we want to change our team's lives. So we have a staff in the Philippines. I went and visited them last month, and they're doing very well. I'm actually, it's like so heartwarming to get to talk to them. We work with them directly. So that's the trap. Those are our goals. We're going to talk about the results of where we are today, and then we'll get to the process.
Like Eric said, in April 2022, I was 100% owner, 100% employee. I was fortunate to have maybe 12 to 18 clients that followed me, so we had work to do right away, and I did 100% of the work. If you had told me 4 years later that I would be able to take a 10-day trip to Europe and not even bring a laptop with me, I would have laughed in your face. But here we are 4 years later, and I do about 15% of the daily work now.
Yeah, so let's get to the meat of it. Okay, we're going to get a little abstract here for a second. We're going to talk about the nature of work. I don't think people think about this very often. I love this. I love hearing about what people do. Client work, when it comes down to it, is just a set of blocks. You can call them chunks, you can call them buckets. I don't care what term you use. We need to make discrete squares around the tasks that we do. And we're going to nag you a few times about this. This is dramatically easier if you go to one tech stack or mostly one tech stack and one engagement or mostly one engagement. And what I mean by that is if you do monthly accounting services, that all the clients roughly get the same thing. It doesn't have to be 100%, but if it's 95%, it's so much better. So in our world, here's an example of 5 of our blocks. These are 5 blocks that we cut out and we documented. And how we documented, we'll get to that. And yeah, so in every client case, they get some of these things once, sometimes once a week. Okay, thank you for making it through that slide. It is now time for your second joke. I bet I bet, I haven't been to a huge amount of sessions. How many of the other sessions had a joke? Is it 0? It's 0. You got 2 jokes in one session. That's crazy, crazy value. Okay.
What did the revenue fish say to the expense fish?
Net incoming. You get it? You get it? Because revenue minus expense, right? That's income. I know it's not net income. I understand. I know net means something there, but the joke works off the word net. So, okay. Let's talk about documentation.
Okay, so how did we go from I do 100% of the work to we have a whole staff who does most of the work for our clients? And we figured out we have to document the process of me doing that work. The first thing that we did was we identified the recurring task. Like Eric said, most of our engagements are standardized. We would pick a task and hone into it. And when I say hone into it, I mean that I would do the task and I would use a Loom video and I would record myself doing the task. And his instructions were talk through every single thing that you do. Every time I post a journal entry, every time I credit something or debit something, explain what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. This is awkward. This gets less awkward the more you do it, but it totally works. And lucky for me, when I was done just doing my work and talking about what I was doing, I stopped the video and I just shared it to Eric.
Cleans her hands. So the talent goes back to the green room, and it's time to do the work. Okay, teasing. Okay, so I take that video. Those videos are between 10 minutes and 90 minutes long. So it could be like a full setup of a client in Gusto, going through state agencies, going through every little checkbox on that Gusto screen. Can take a very long time to explain given all the ifs, ands, and buts. So I write all of it down. And I'm talking just very verbose, lots of context, lots of prerequisites, lots of explaining why we're doing this, who we're doing this for, when we wouldn't do this, how we do this. And now we have a paired set of things. We have a Loom video, or videos, and a Word document. We take those things and hand them to our staff. And because, this is NAG number 2, we're standardized on tech and on service agreements, there are myriad opportunities for the staff to do it. We don't have to wait 3 months for this to come back up. It's happening over and over and over, sometimes many, many, many times per month. And this is really, I actually think this is where people get stuck, is that you do all this work to write the process, you hand it to someone, it's clear in your head, and you're like, this is gonna work perfect, right? And you hand it to them, and they run the process, and then we take all that work product and we hand it back to Michelle.
How do we deploy the process that we just executed together between me doing the work and Eric taking the video and writing the process? So basically, the goal here is that the partners do as little of the process-advised work as possible. No, that's not a real word. I made it up. Just go with me because it works here. We take the process, start it at the bottom. And when I talk about bottom, I just mean staff accountant, senior staff, manager, partner/firm owner, however it works in your business. If the process works at the staff accountant level, it's done. You've deployed the process. That is the person that does that work. That is the level of staff that you need in the firm to do that type of work. If the staff accountant can't do it, then you have to take the process back and figure out why. For me, it was most important to learn that sometimes you're doing this revision because the why is missing from the process. So usually the process doesn't work the first time. If it doesn't work because we missed the context. It's not a people problem. We take the process, we go back through it. Maybe Eric tries it. He doesn't really like to have to do that, but he does have to sometimes. And we re-deliver the process to the staff accountant. If we know the process works, if we fix the problem, and the staff accountant still can't do it, we move it up a level to the senior staff accountant. If it works there, it stays there. Obviously, the higher the level of the employee, the harder the work that they're going to do. That's the whole nature of having a firm with tiers of expertise. Sometimes it doesn't work at the staff accountant level, so it's got to go up to a manager. Ultimately, if the manager can't do it, or the highest person underneath you can't do it, you better be able to do it. You might be the owner of the firm or the partner, and you might have gone from 100% to 50%, but you still have to do something. So we're at the point, there's very few things that stay just with me and just with Eric. But ultimately, we're not saying it's no work, we're just telling you how to get most of the work out of your lap.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about my favorite slide. We're going to talk about tools, technology, the best. Okay, listen, I see all the phones. There's a QR code at the end. We'll send you all the slides. If you want the slides, we're happy to send them. You can take your pictures, but we'll get there. Okay, my experience in doing technology projects is that they are always a human psychology project before they're a technology project. It is exceptionally difficult to change someone's behavior, so I only lean on tools people already like and use. So our team already knew Microsoft Word. They sort of knew OneDrive. So we have a process library. And when I say that, it sounds fancy. All I'm talking about is a single folder that's shared in OneDrive. The whole firm knows exactly where the folder is.
We do?
Yes. Also, we're an Office 365 shop. If you're on Google Workspace, for you, this is Google Drive and Google Docs. Same thing. Literally could not be any more similar at this point in 2026. Secondly, we have a OneNote notebook. If you don't know what OneNote is, just imagine a 3-ring binder, but it's digital, and it has tabs and then pages. Each tab is a customer. Each page is a set of the process exceptions for that customer. So if we have a bank reconciliation process, and this one customer uses this archaic bank that you can't log into unless you do 3 things and like stand on 1 foot, then we have that documented there, not in the main process, so we don't clutter that up. Google has no corollary to this tool. I don't really know why, but you can look at Notion or Obsidian. Those are kind of the main competitors to OneNote. They're actually much more full-featured than OneNote. OneNote is kind of, I would say, a 10 to 20-year-old product. Third, we're going to talk about Loom. Loom is Michelle's favorite, so she gets to do that one.
Yeah, 4 years ago, I had never been to loom.com. I didn't know what a Loom video was. We signed our first partner agreement with Xero, and we're fortunate to work with Logan Duckworth, who's right here front and center. And at the time, he was our partner consultant, and I needed to get a whole bunch of companies up and running on Xero. I was building a fresh start January 1st, 2022. I had a million questions. I would send Logan an email, and I think at some point he was like, I don't have time for this lady. If I just send her a video and show her what to do one time, she'll know what to do. She won't need my help again, and she'll leave me alone. So it's true, the videos work to have a Logan library. Now we have a High Echelon library. I heard yesterday from head of product at Xero that she has a library of my Loom videos that I've sent to her. So thank you, Logan. Thank you, Xero. We love Loom. And you guys, if you haven't tried it, it's perfect for this situation.
Yep. And then the fourth thing we do is our staff is trained firmly but kindly. Please don't email us. Please don't send us Teams messages, WhatsApp, text, none of that. We have 2 meetings a week, and those are the only meetings we have. In those meetings, they bring a list of questions. They both use a digital like Post-it note app on their computer, and it just sits on their computer. And every time they have a question about something that doesn't hit the process, they write down. They have a Michelle list and an Eric list. Usually mine are like authentication and bank feed and all that kind of stuff. Michelle, it's obviously more accounting focused. Then at that meeting, we screen share and we go through all their problems and clean them out. And it works exceptionally well. It's probably the highest quality of life thing in this whole presentation. Okay, getting close to the end here, let's talk about some real world examples.
Just a few examples of processes that we use every day and think probably apply to most firms out there. Stuff that we've deployed that essentially we think works pretty perfectly. The first thing is new client onboarding. We don't do anything for a client from the time that we send a proposal to the time that literally all of the work is ready to be done.
You and I
software. Yeah, we don't touch it. We send a proposal, the client signs, they get an automated new client onboarding form. We have a process whereby our staff sets them up. Like Eric said, we're standardized on Xero. They get a Xero org, they get a tax file, they get everything they need.
Can you pull your microphone a little towards your mouth?
Okay,
there
is that
we go.
better?
Yep.
Okay, only once everything is in the systems, we come back in the picture and we can start the work. I've heard nightmares about the new client onboarding process. I think ours is perfect. We don't miss anything, and I promise you, we are so thorough, and if you need help with this, I would love to help you with this.
Yeah, a quick interjection at the bottom of this slide. These 4 processes we have a sanitized version of, so it has no High Echelon firm info. We'll happily just send you the Word document of these processes. So there's a QR code at the end, and just scan that. It'll just take you to a little Microsoft form. You put your name and your email address, and we'll send it over to you.
The second process that our staff do is they set up the recurring invoice for every client. We bill it the first of the month on every single month. Everybody pays a fixed fee, and part of the engagement details what is this client's price, what is the term of the engagement, and everybody gets billed on the first of the month after the month that they sign, and our staff go in there and they set up the recurring invoice. We just kind of wake up a few days after the first of the next month and the money is in our bank account because they set up the recurring invoice. It processes on the first of the month and the money moves from them to us.
Yeah, it's not gaining. It's not close enough to your mouth, I think. I think they're going to give you a handheld. I can explain the next one. So payroll onboarding to Gusto, as I mentioned, this was the hardest one to document. We went through so many revisions of this. We describe this like it's all hunky-dory, like you just go in, you write the process, and off you go. I think it's been revised like 8 to 10 times because of all the little ifs, ands, and buts for every different state. You want to talk about the fourth one?
I'm going to.
Yeah.
Is this on? Can you guys hear?
Yep.
Okay, of course it's me that would have this snafu. The last one is how to print and deliver financial statements to clients. Every client's work is done in Xero. We do use the report feature. We do click the publish button. I do love having that library on Xero. I am terrified that we're all going to wake up one day and the internet's going to be gone, and then I'm not going to have a firm. So we have backup copies of every monthly set of financials, and then we have a way in which we deliver it to the clients because they're paying us every month and they need to hear from us and receive their deliverable. It's a little bit of clicking and downloading and moving stuff to secure portal. I think it's a pretty efficient way. I don't have to do it. We would love a better way maybe, but for the most part, it works perfectly. Every client gets the same exact deliverable that's stored and copied in the same way internally, and for us, it works.
Okay, so almost to the end here. If you hear all this and you say, Eric, Michelle, that sounds great. As I mentioned, I had a whole life before owning a firm. And my experience was the CEO of my firm would go to a conference like this and he would get jazzed up about an idea. And he would take it back to the team and he would meet a stone wall. It would be like, we're not changing one thing. And I'm part of that stone wall. I was the wall. I was like one of the bricks of the wall. So my advice to you is if you wanted to do something like this, you start very small. Okay, we're talking like one process with one person. We're not trying to do a firm-wide initiative. We're just trying to make your life, your personal life, a little better. And so let's do this over 30 days, 4 weeks. Week 1, let's say it starts today. Think about all the work you do on a recurring basis. I think monthly or more frequent is best. I think quarterly and annual is too infrequent to get a lot of like traction because we need some, there's going to be some inertia, so we need something that happens frequently. You are going to consider the work that you do that is simple, and I don't mean that that means that it's easy. I mean that it's just the same thing a lot of times, and it's not too like esoteric. 2, it's repeatable, so it works for this client and this client and this client and this client. And it's tedious for you, as in you don't really enjoy it. It's going to be motivating for you to move work that's not enjoyable for you. You can imagine not having to do that. Week 2, you're going to go to loom.com. It's free in a limited context. I don't know exactly the parameters. I think it's around length and who you can share it with. Even if you have to pay for it, it's not terribly expensive, particularly if this works for you. If you have someone on your team, such as myself, that can take that process and write it down, all the better. You might have to do it yourself. Now Loom, like almost all of these tools, does have an AI summary. My experience has been that if you're documenting a very tedious, complex process, it's going to miss the nuance. I mean, I don't know how it could because some of this stuff gets like every little checkbox on a screen of like 15 options. You could start there. You could take the Loom output and edit it down and watch your video back. I leave that to you to figure out. Week 3, you're going to pick someone on your team. This is the make or break one, okay? We want somebody that has a good attitude, that is not complaining that they're overloaded. Whether they're overloaded or not doesn't actually matter. It's whether they're complaining that they're overloaded. If you know they're overloaded and they're not complaining, don't give it to them either. And then 3rd, we just heard this from Chelsea over there, we want somebody that has a growth mindset, okay? We want somebody that like is in their career and you know 3 years from now they're not gonna have the same job, whether with you or with someone else. So they wanna grow, they wanna change, they wanna experience some friction in their life towards growth. And you're gonna hand them that process, you give them the Loom video, you give them the Word or the Google Docs, and you say, go try and do this. I will tell you when we've done this for 4 years, our hit rate on that being successful the first time around after 4 years is 70%. So that means 30%, it's a train wreck. It doesn't work. They click the wrong thing. They set up a state the wrong way. Like like, why are we getting sales tax? This is supposed to be unemployment insurance, but whatever, you know? So I'm trying to set the stage a little bit here to temper your expectations that it's not just gonna work the first time, okay? So we're gonna have to do reps. And then 4, revision. We gotta understand how other people think. We have to understand they don't have the career we have. They may not have the degrees or the education or the corporate experience that we have. And so you're gonna have to work with them and understand that the process might need to be written a lot of times. Okay, last thoughts.
We've been talking for 20 minutes, and we think if you take away anything from our presentation, it's these 3 things. Chunk the work, figure out what is the recurring task, what are your clients paying for. Once you identify the task, make a process. Once you make the process, deploy the process. Figure out how to get it out of your workload and into your staff's workload.
Second, I just went through this, but you got to write it down. One of the biggest problems in saying, oh, we have all these processes is, let's say, God forbid, you have a medical emergency tomorrow. Would these processes stand up to that? Like, would the firm actually be able to do this without you there? And if the answer is no, then I don't call that a documented process. I think you just have something that's like part of your cultural tribal intelligence that people would kind of bumble through. I've actually seen this happen in a lot of our clients where they have an older controller, CFO, and something happens, and then they're scrambling. And so please write it down, revise it, make sure it stays good. And then Finally, we again want to emphasize standardizing your clients and their engagements. We built the firm, but I was adamant that I only wanted to work with one accounting software. I came into it knowing I wanted to partner with Xero, knowing that Xero was our choice. I have used every accounting software. I have taken clients from every single accounting software and put them on Xero. You're at Xerocon, I think you should pick Xero. You don't have to pick Xero, but you should just standardize. Do not go in and out of a million different software. Also, we only do tax returns for clients for whom we keep the books. So we're keeping the books all year round. My corporate returns were done by like February 15th. January with like payroll stuff is harder than the rest of corporate tax season. When you have everything in-house, when you have everything standardized, there's no surprises. It's efficient. You know the work that you have to do, and the clients know what the deliverable is going to be that you're going to give to them. Okay. We very much appreciate every one of you being here. Here's the QR code. Thank you so much. I don't think I had considered the headphone thing when I asked if there were any questions, so it might be better if you just came and talked to us after the event. Come say hi, and we'll be here the rest of the day. And then, yeah, QR code, just scan it. It'll take you to form, name, email address.
Do you get that form that goes to your inbox?
I do. It goes to mine.
I don't want.
Okay, thank you.